a grand kingdom surrounded by golden deserts and tall mountains, there lived a young Muslim prince named Zayyan. He was not like other princes who loved to show off their wealth or chase after beauty. Zayyan was known across the lands for one thing, his deep faith in Allah. He was a practicing Muslim who followed his religion with love and sincerity. He prayed 5 times a day, fasted, gave charity, treated his people kindly, and most of all, he always lowered his gaze. Zayyan believed that true strength came from self-control. He never looked at women with desire, not because he hated them, but because he honored them. He believed his gaze was a trust from Allah, and he should protect it until the day he was married. Many princesses from other lands tried to gain his attention, wearing their finest clothes, sending letters, even attending feasts just to catch his eye. But Zayyan never looked at them. He would turn his face respectfully and speak only if needed with kindness, but never flirtation. Far away, across the sea, lived a young Christian princess named Isabella. She was the daughter of King Aldred of Valmere. Isabella was known for her bravery and curiosity. She loved to read, ride horses, and study the cultures of faraway lands. One day, she heard tales from travelers about a strange prince in the east, a man who never looked at women, who avoided worldly temptations, and lived by a strict code of honor based on his religion. This fascinated her. Isabella asked the travelers more. "Why would he do that?" she questioned. One old merchant replied, "Because he lives for the pleasure of his Lord, not the people. They call him Zayyan, the truthful." Something about that name stayed in her heart. In her kingdom, she had met many noblemen, knights, and suitors, but none like this. None who lowered their gaze. None who refused attention. None who walked with such purity. She wanted to meet him not to win his love, but to see such a man with her own eyes. Destiny, however, had its own plan. A dark sorcerer named Azraman, who had once been banished from Nuristan, returned with an army of shadow creatures. He wanted revenge and power. He began destroying cities, crossing borders, and threatening both Nuristan and Valmere. The kings of both lands decided they must unite or perish. King Aldred sent a royal message to Nuristan asking for help. Prince Zayyan agreed to form an alliance for the sake of peace and justice. He traveled with his soldiers to a valley between the 2 kingdoms. There, Isabella finally saw him. He rode a white horse, dressed in simple but noble clothing. His eyes were always on the ground or the sky, never wandering. When she was introduced, he nodded respectfully, but never looked at her face. He listened carefully, spoke gently, and when prayer time came, he excused himself and offered salah on the grass, facing east. Isabella was moved. During the days that followed, they worked together to plan for the upcoming war. Zayyan and Isabella never spoke privately, never sat alone. But through their short conversations, she noticed something about him. He never laughed without reason. He never praised himself. He didn't speak of his achievements or brag about war. He always mentioned God in his words, Inshallah, Alhamdulillah, and Astaghfirullah. One night, while preparing battle plans, Zayyan looked at the stars and whispered verses from the Quran. Isabella, sitting at a distance, watched him. Her heart was filled with a strange warmth, not love of appearance, but love of his light. Then came disaster. Azraman's shadow beasts attacked the valley camp in the middle of the night. Screams filled the air. Fire rained down. In the chaos, Isabella was captured and taken away to a hidden fortress in the dark mountains. When Zayyan discovered this, he didn't hesitate. With only a few trusted warriors, he rode into the night, following the enemy into their cursed land. Along the way, illusions tried to trap him. The shadows took the shape of beautiful women to confuse him. But Zayyan closed his eyes and recited the verses of Surah Al-Falaq and Surah An-Nas. His heart was firm. He fought monsters and crossed cursed rivers until he reached the tower where Isabella was held. The dark magic was strong, but Zayyan's faith was stronger. He broke the chains with his sword and found her in a cell, bruised but alive. When she saw him, tears filled her eyes. "You came for me, yet you never once looked at me," she whispered. He replied gently, "I came because it was the right thing to do. I don't need to look with my eyes to value someone's life." She said, "Do you love anyone?" He paused. "I love my Lord above all, and if he writes someone for me, I will love her with honor, not desire." They escaped together, and with Allah's help, returned safely. After the war was won and Azraman defeated, Isabella returned to Valmere, but she was no longer the same. She kept thinking of Zayyan's words, his actions, his discipline, and the peace she saw in his eyes. She began to read about Islam secretly, the Quran, the prophets, the stories of Maryam, peace be upon her. She read about the modesty of women, the value of patience, and the love of Allah. Her heart softened. She began to believe. After months of reflection, she accepted Islam and took the name Yasmin. She sent a message to Nuristan. Not a romantic one, but a sincere letter. I have accepted Islam not for you, but because your way opened my heart to the truth. If Allah wills, may He write us together. If not, I still thank you for showing me what love of God looks like. Zayyan read the letter and made istikhara a prayer, asking Allah for guidance. Soon after, he traveled to Valmir. This time, not as a warrior, but as a man seeking nikah. With King Algid's blessing and Yasmin's joy, they were married in a quiet, beautiful Islamic ceremony. On their wedding day, Zayyan still kept his gaze lowered until the Imam said, "You may now look at your wife." When their eyes met for the first time, they both smiled, not with fire, but with peace. They knew their love was not born from looks, but from sincerity, faith, and patience. Together, they ruled with justice. They built schools, helped orphans, united their kingdoms, and became a symbol of harmony between faiths, nations, and hearts. Moral of the story: true love begins with purity, is guided by faith, and blossoms in patience. When you protect your gaze and honor your heart, Allah writes the most beautiful love stories for you.